When you present in meetings, do you feel like you could be more dynamic and get more engagement? Well, I got a great question that I answer that's going to tell you how to do exactly that.
Welcome to Leadership Mindset 2.0. Practical neuroscience and psychology to transform you from a tactical doer into a strategic leader. Here is your host, former social entrepreneur of the year and coach to some of the world's top executives, R. Michael Anderson.
Hello, leaders. Michael here. Now, you may be watching this one of two places. One is in the private Facebook group, or you may be listening to this on a podcast. I love getting real life questions, real life answers out to all the listeners. And if you are listening as a podcast and you want to ask me questions, you can join the GLC as well. The link is in the show notes. Now, we had a couple of really interesting questions come to me and that we're just going to jump right in with. The first is, I have a middle manager on my team that wants to be told what to do, will not ask for help of anyone other than me, and when they do make a decision, make the wrong one and makes excuses. After 6 months of me pushing back at them, is it worth my time of my new director to work with this individual, or is it a lost cause? Are PIPs actually worth the time and the effort? So if you don't know what a PIP is, it's a personal improvement plan. And this is when you go to HR and you formally put the person basically on notice so they know that they are being evaluated, potentially like losing their job, for example. Now, the question is a PIP actually worth the time and the effort? 100% yes. I've worked with leaders over and over that said that people that have been putting on a PIP, it really wakes them up. It lets them know that you're serious and they make the proper changes. I was talking to a leader today, and honestly, she lets people walk over her. And what happens with certain personality types when they know they can walk over somebody and there's no repercussions, they keep doing it. What a PIP lets them know is that you're serious and they need to drive their behavior, or there's a next step, which is going to be not favorable to them. And so it's absolutely a great thing to do. And then you are also documenting things and they're one step closer to getting out of that position, which it sounds like you need them out of that position unless they specifically change their attitude and behaviors and everything else. Now, based on also what I'm reading, there's a really good chance that they aren't going to change their behavior. But to me, you owe them this, and you owe your organization the step of going to HR and doing a personal improvement program. Second question. How do you respectfully manage your peers now as their supervisor? There's a really interesting word in here that I want to point out. It says respectfully. You should respectfully manage them as long as they're being respectful to you. And the reason I say this is I do get a lot of leaders that are in a team and then they get promoted and now their peers are reporting to them. It's a strange dynamic for pretty much anybody, because your identity is as a pal and a coworker, and all of a sudden now there's a different level of respect. And if they're not respecting you, you may not want to, don't take this the wrong way, if they're not respecting you, you may not want to be respectfully managing them. You might tell them that they need to shape up. Oftentimes, when people are now leading a team they used to be a member of, or maybe they're younger than everybody else or whatever, there needs to be a time where you come down on them. Look, we used to be friends. We used to be in the same team, but you got to shape up. I'm not putting up with this. This is not appropriate behavior. You need to play a bigger game. It's like they are testing you. They're testing you to see how much they can get away with. And it's easier because you used to be one of them. As a leader, you are not their friend. You can be friendly. I'm not saying this never happens, but you have to be careful by being good friends with people in a team that you lead. Because what if they do something unethical? What if they aren't performing? What if you have to have a difficult conversation with them? I'm not saying it's never been done, but I would err to not doing that instead of doing that. It's going to cause it could cause potential real headaches. So you're not one of the gang anymore. And if you used to have a lot of your social life with them, that may have to change. And that's part of leadership. And so, again, you may need to have that one really, a bit of a blow up, a bit of telling them the hard truth in order to really get that respect from them. Third question, and I really like this one. I want to demonstrate executive presence. I'm petite and perceived as young and inexperienced until I start talking. Basically, she knows what she's talking about, but because of looks and perceptions. I also struggle with opening up presentations in a meeting setting. I have great content, but not a great start to the presentation. I would like to be more engaging. Got a lot for you here. Now, you have to be careful because presence is not a performance. Meaning, some people, when they are in a situation like that, might try to, for example, project bigger or sound louder than they really are. The problem is that's not authentic and that doesn't come off well. So you're lucky, in this case, whoever's writing the question, you got the hard part, your content's good. But the issue is your opening transition and how you're perceiving yourself. Because honestly, you're probably feeling a lot more judged than you really are. There's a 99% chance that you're creating some of this, probably not all of it, in your mind. And that triggers you into a stress response. And then you're operating and behaving from the ego. And when you're in your ego, people don't necessarily trust you. People aren't necessarily going to be attentive, and it hurts your engagement. And then you probably rush your opening, you sound flat, or you over-explain. So here's two things you need. You need a pre-meeting ritual and a kick-ass opening. So let's do one at a time. Here's what I mean by pre-meeting ritual. You need to get grounded and present. So what this means is before you go on, you know they're going to introduce you in a minute or two, you want to get grounded. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the bottom of your feet on your socks or your shoes or whatever it is and wiggle your toes. That's going to get you grounded. Something about your feet on the floor. Maybe that's why they call it grounding, right? Breathe into the bottom of your stomach. Take a couple deep breaths into the bottom of your stomach because that's where our body breathes when we're relaxed. When we're stressed, we breathe into the top of the collarbone. But when you breathe into the bottom of your stomach, it gets more air and oxygen in there and it tells your body you're relaxed. And here's one question to ask yourself. What does this room need right now? This could be a specific bit of content, could be energy, could be where you want to focus. And here's the thing. If you are stressed, you're worried about you, not them. When you are speaking or you're in a presentation, it's about your audience. It's about what they need to do differently. It's not about you. It's not about how you're perceived. So part of changing this focus from you to them is massive. And so put your energy out there to them, not what they're thinking about you, but what you need to deliver to them. Then you have to open your presentation with presence. I got this one piece of advice. I do a lot of keynote speaking, and what somebody told me one time, and I do this every single time, is walk to the center of the stage, plant your feet, make eye contact with everybody in the audience slowly, take a deep breath, and then start. And, it's 10 or 15 seconds that people are just sitting in that silence. Because what's powerful is when you hold the silence. So when you get up in a meeting, just look at everybody, stand, face everybody, look at everybody, let the silence hang. If there's some people typing loudly or talking, I'll tell you what a real courageous thing to do is just look at them until they stop. And the peer pressure of everybody else will make them stop. And then you start. That's powerful. Now, your opening, you need a strong opening. Ask a question. Put a challenge out there. Say something unconventional. Don't just have a boring, okay, now I'm going to give you the quarterly report. You need to say, okay, quarterly report time, there's going to be two things I'm going to show you that you probably didn't know, so that it's a bit of a hook. And then if you're younger or you're petite or whatever, look, some people are going to judge you. That's their issue, not yours. I'm not going to lie and say nobody's going to judge you. But also, we tend to think way more people are judging us than we think. And then you could blow away their expectations, right? So that's really what you need to do. So my challenge to you, dear leader, and as you probably know from this podcast, I give a challenge at the end of every episode, whether you're watching this in the GLC or the podcast, is to, how can you open up meetings stronger? What do you need to do? Do you need to do a ritual? Do you need to let the silence hang for a few minutes? Do you need to open your presentation with a good hook? Whatever that is, put that in there, because as leaders, we need to present a lot. And when we give ourselves a good opening, when we give ourselves a good start, we are that much stronger. All right, everybody, this is Michael. Great questions here, very practical, a lot of good take-home stuff for you to add to your leadership arsenal. Just remember, as always, I'm here to get your back. You can contact me anytime And I really appreciate all the things that you go through, dear leader. Leadership is freaking hard, but I'm here to help you, and I believe in you. And no matter what comes at you today and this week, dear leader, I know you got this. If fear and self-doubt are keeping you stuck as a leader, if you still experience imposter syndrome, if you sometimes don't raise your hand and speak up in meetings, if you're not quote unquote playing offense with your career, putting yourself out there, developing strategic relationships, and taking the necessary steps to continue getting ahead, whether it's your career or scaling your business, then I have exactly what you need. Myself and Shannon Sedlacek are hosting a 2-day leadership intensive in Montreal, Canada on October 2nd and 3rd. In this powerful 2 days, you're going to be led through a series of exercises where you are going to learn how to develop your relationship with fear. Fear is natural. Fear, in a way, is good. But what you need as a leader is tools and skills to work with that. Because if you want to keep moving up and moving forward in life, you're still going to experience fear. We just got to give you the tool set to work with it. If you want more information, go to r.michaelanderson/intensive. We're hosting a reception the day before. If you get there on the Thursday, the day before October 1st, you get a chance to hang out with me and Shannon for a little while before the real work starts on the Friday and the Saturday. This is ideal for leaders who really want to invest in their growth and love the in-person format. This is not virtual. This is us sitting in a really powerful room. In fact, we're calling it the bravest room in Montreal. So if you're interested at all, go to the link. If you have any questions, if it's right for you, if you're right for it, drop me a note. We'll figure it out. This is limited to 10 spots, and we already have 5 accounted for. So if you're interested, make a move now, because it is going to be a powerful event that you're going to want to make sure you're there for. I'll see you in Montreal.